somebody who holds the space for that, and I am not perfect. I learn something new all the time. It's the great grace of God in this profession is that you get the opportunity to sit with people in their life's worst moments. Like, what a privilege is that? To get to say to somebody, like, I see you.
Yeah. But I see you.
I see you.
I see you.
I'm going to breathe with you for a second. And then we're going to go do this incredibly hard thing while a lot of them still have blood and bone matter on their uniform. Like, what a privilege is that? And if you treat it like that and you stay in that mindset, which John does every single call, and which I try to do every single, I think, is to sit with people in that and really be with them. Like, truly, I know I'm saying it over and over again, but, like, what a privilege is that?
Yeah.
And that's what led me to my question of asking if you ever felt underestimated, because contrary to popular belief, I'm not an accountant. I'm actually a nurse.
Yeah, she saves lives. Too.
So I do receive a lot of pushback from male patients because I know there's a stigma. I mean, it's not a stigma, but we aren't, as women, we aren't able to relate to men 100% because we're not in their shoes. And so with your position that you're in today, do you feel like at this current point in time, I guess it's fair to ask as far as the PBA is concerned, do you feel like you're opening that avenue for more women to be able to come in and be able to serve as that, I guess, vessel for the male officers?
I appreciate that, and the female ones, right?
And the female ones
and I
as
see
well.
you as a nurse in a still male-dominated tiered system, right, where depending on what kind of nursing you do, you're going to see a vast majority of male patients that are going to treat you like shit, despite the fact that you're there to save their ass, right? So I see you, and I hear you in that. I guess I also get to operate as a white woman, right? So I don't have the added layer of being a woman of color, and I see that too. So there's just a realness. Yeah, it's real, right? Like, when I walk into a law enforcement setting, there are a lot of assumptions about me that might also be inaccurate that people like. Like, they might think they know who I voted for president.
Yeah.
They're probably wrong. Do you know what I mean? But they might think they know my political affiliation.
Right.
They're probably wrong.
They're probably wrong. But it doesn't matter in that moment, right? When
Right.
bullets are flying. I think I'm just trying to do the right thing. Whatever
That's
the
it.
right thing is for my client at that moment, to be the right partner to him, to be the right person in this organization. And women will naturally follow that because they're drawn to that authenticity and they're drawn to opportunity. And I make good money, and I can help take care of my child, and I can have a good, full, beautiful life. What rational person, man or woman, wouldn't be drawn to that?
Right.
And I will say, because we've grown 90% in 6 years, we've brought on 2 new staff members, largely because we needed the help. And they're both women.
Yeah.
And we're paying them great, and we're treating them great because this is an employee union.
You're right.
And labor unions know what it is to give people good lives. That's what we're striving to do.
Most unions. Most
That's what,
labor unions.
you know what, the
I had
unions
to
that
say that,
last and
yeah.
grow, they need to.
Yeah, they
Otherwise, they
need
need to
to.
get out of the game
Absolutely.
because it's 2025.
Yeah. That's my argument daily. Like,
It is not
y'all better tighten
1945.
up.
Yeah. Do your
It's a
job or get
fair
out of the
day's
way.
Pay is not a fair day's work anymore.
Well,
we need to get incentivized for real.
Be excited about what
Oh.
you're doing or stop.
Or stop.
Right.
Absolutely.
I hope that answered your question.
Nah.
It did. And I mean, I feel like it's very clear, being on both sides of the table, you can tell who's in it for the money and who's in it for the
love
actual
and the passion.
care and compassion for others.
In nursing, in teaching, in law enforcement, in
And
legal,
everything, yeah.
you can tell who's where they're supposed to be. You
Yeah.
can tell who prayed about it, who thought about it, who asked God where they were supposed to be, and then sat in that and listened with their 2 ears and their mouths shut, and then tried their best to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless of how hard it is.
Yeah, regardless, because the hard stuff is the
Yeah.
good stuff.
And
So-
that comes in within its
And the hard stuff is always a learning opportunity.
100%. If it's easy, I'm bored.
All right.
I like that. So, like, something I want to know about, you're a part of it all. As an attorney representing law enforcement, how do you navigate the tension between public perception and the legal reality of high-profile cases or something like that?
That's a good question.
That's
Yeah, I was
a
a good.
really
I was about to
good
say that's a
question.
good ass question.
I think Suncoast PBA as a union does this really well because we treat our reporting partners with respect when respect is due and owed. So just like nurses, just like doctors, just like teachers, just like law enforcement officers, there are great journalists and there are shitty reporters, right? And we've met great journalists that run podcasts. And we've met great journalists that write for newspapers. And we've met shitty reporters that masquerade behind big, qualified newspapers.
Just an opportunity for them.
Well, or they don't deserve the print that they've been given. And talk about organizations that are dying, newspapers. And that's damn sad because as a country, we need accountable journalism. And when we 100%. Mess up as a culture, when law enforcement needs to change, the media's done a good job of recognizing that and pointing it out. It's when it tips into becoming clickbait, when it tips into becoming sensationalism, when it tips into becoming just something that gets that reporter more followers on their X account. That's when we get really pissed. We are good at saying when we messed up. And John's given hundreds of interviews now, and he's good at it, talking about the difference between bad law enforcement and human error. We recruit from the human race. People are going to say dumb shit. Let's figure out if we can fix it or if they're recalcitrant pieces of shit. If they're recalcitrant pieces of shit, they can't be in law enforcement.
Wait, what's that word?
Recalcitrant.
Write that one down, Harley. Write that one down. We got to write that
down.
Viewers at home. Listen, but there are people who want to change, right? There are people who say, there are people that we've represented, if you want to get like real hard, am I allowed to get real hard? Who've said dumb racist things, right? Because they are dumb. And they need to be educated. Yeah. And if they are open to that,
great.
We will educate. We will find subject matter experts. We will assign reading. We will assign listening.
Competency program.
Cultural competency, right? But if somebody grew up in Buffalo, New York, and they've never met a black person, right? And the first time they interact with black people, it's in a criminal setting. And the only time they ever interact with people of color is when they're arresting them. Do they need more access to more educated, quality people, right?
100%.
And that's part of our job. So that's a big foray from like how do we deal with high-profile cases, but we deal with it macro and we deal with it micro. Micro is saying to a peer and a client, yo, you can't say that.
No.
It's 2025.
Right.
And not okay. Without getting into either our families, like that's not okay. And we will not accept it as a union. It's not funny. It's not cute. You can't do it. Here's why.
Let that be the first and last.
Yeah, correct. And like, let's use this as a learning opportunity. Recalcitrant means, as y'all well know, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get into it. Recalcitrant means a client that sits and looks at you and says, no, I can say that. You know it's true.
It's like almost like an entitled,
Or why are you saying that to me? Because don't you share my opinion, which is coming to Jesus for the client that I, in fact, do not.
I don't.
And the union does not.
Yeah.
Right? So
we don't stand behind that.
I took the scariest one, right?
We don't
like
even
the things
stand.
that people are most scared to talk about, which is race and law enforcement, but we should be talking about
Absolutely.
As a media issue, right? We deal with media head on. We treat our reporting partners with respect. We respond to responsible media inquiries. And we make this man available to answer hard questions all the time. And he does it well, and he does it authentically, and he does it honestly, and he does it as a man of God. So when he talks from his heart. He's not trying to win clicks. We don't grow membership from what the media publishes.
Right.
But we treat our ethical, responsible journalism partners with the respect that they are due, and we make sure to give them facts.
Wow.
So real quick to her point about that, you know, everybody has their own personal bias that they grew up with, the way they were shaped, formed, good, bad, or indifferent. Their feelings against law enforcement, towards law enforcement, for us, against us, for a certain race, against a certain race. What I cannot appreciate that Sasha was talking about is these reporters who come at it with a bias already. Like if you're going to come to me and ask me questions about an officer, especially one that's not even in our area, okay? You can't come at me with biases already built in. Like, you're going to ask me to be completely unbiased in everything I do because I don't see color, I don't see sex, I don't see age, I don't see anything. I'm a non-discriminatory person. I see facts and facts alone. Then you have to do the same if you're going to come and ask me questions. And I'll tell you exactly how it is whenever you come to ask me questions. That's probably not going to get published. So, they're probably not going to play that. But you're not going to come to me and like, isn't it true that
No, it's
the
not.
officers did? No. Let's get to the basis with it. My huge thing during George Floyd was that sucked. It's horrible. Nobody's proud about that. You know what I mean? A whole bunch of things happened in that situation. None of them good. But why here in St. Peter we having protests about our department? Like, what do? We're a nation away from that. You know what I mean? That's on the other side of the entire nation. Why are you shitting on us? You know what I mean? Like, we work hard to make sure that we
don't do
integrate with our community. You know what I mean? Like, we have a massive amount of African American officers, a massive amount of female officers.
Police is
Our
black.
chief, and our assistant chief, and our mayor. Like, we take pride in being a massively diverse agency.
Mm-hmm.
That we take pride in going into the community that does not typically like police and say, hey, we're just like you. You know, same people,
You're
different shade, but we're all humans, man. You know what I mean? And the best thing and the best way to understand that is to talk to one of us. You know what I mean? Like, if the only thing you're doing is going off of what the media portrays, that's unfair. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sitting here, treat us nice because we're really good people. Treat us fair. Treat us for who we are, not what the media says.
Right.
You can't go off of, the bad cops you see on the media because, listen, there are hundreds of thousands of police officers every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on those streets. And let's say it's even once a week you hear about a bad cop. Think about how many hours in a day, how many weeks in a month, months in a year, and you hear, and I'm saying one a week is probably more, maybe one a month. That's hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of officers every day doing the right thing. So, like, hey, you don't talk about the you don't talk about the teacher who molested her child and say, let's get rid of all teachers.
They put the
All teachers are hard bad.
overshadow the
Yeah.
positive.
Hey, this one priest who did this, all priests are bad. Like Sasha said, like I've said before, we hire from the human race.
Mm-hmm.
We do our damnedest to weed those people out. Okay? Race, that's wild. You know what I mean? Like, to have a racist anything in you is wild. You know what I mean? Like, we're all humans.
Especially if you claim to know God.
Facts. Y'all, if you claim to know God, you can't talk about it.
Can't talk
Listen,
about that.
if you claim to know God and you have an issue with race, come holler at me because I promise I'm going to hurt your feelings.
I'll teach you. I don't know who you're.
I promise before I talk to you, I'm going to pray that the Holy Spirit give you discernment because I think in the military is Damian Kirby. Shout out D from Detroit.
Shout out.
Love my guy. If anything happened to him, you don't think I was going to drag that dude out of there and make sure that I would catch every bullet I needed to make sure that he lived, and I know he would do the same? You know what I mean? So it's crazy to think that in 2025 that the media constantly portrays that.
Yeah.
Are there still podunk agencies in podunk U.S. that still feel that way? Absolutely. Man.
Yeah.
And you know what that is? That's a hard thing. That's a human thing.
No.
That's a God needs to get with you type thing. But there's bad people in the world, but we try our damnedest, especially here, to make sure that we have the best quality officers that there is, period. Because the most vulnerable community is usually the community that obviously needs the most help. And in St. Pete specifically, it's the African-American community. I could tell you this. When somebody calls 911, the question is never asked, what race are you?
You need to get here quick.
When that priority call pops up on my screen, I don't scroll and look to see the race of the individual because that's going to stipulate how fast I drive to that call. When I see an armed robbery or a homicide, my right foot is hitting that gas pedal as fast as I can go to get there to make sure that we're there to provide that safety and provide that security and provide that lifeline to that individual that's in need. Race isn't an issue. You know what I mean? What I wish would happen is that there would be a collaboration with organizations like the NAACP and us, Suncoast PBA. Let's talk about how children, 16, 17, who are driving should deal with a cop when they get pulled over.
Teach them.
Right? Teach them. I would love for that to be part of the getting your driver's license.
Right.
Hey, listen, I could tell you this, and this is not, he's a cop, so of course he's going to say that. All of you have kids, know kids, aunties, uncles, or have kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, I'm sure, don't raise them this way, but you see the kids that your kids are friends with, there's an anti-authority thing coming, right? Where I don't got to listen to you. You ain't my mama. You ain't my... Like, hold on a second. When a police officer pulls you over, let's say just for something simple as you ran a red light. We don't know who we're encountering. We have no idea. You could be a homicide suspect.
On the run.
We have no idea. You could be grandma who's getting tired and just ran a red light because you're just getting tired. So we approach every car with caution. So when the unwillingness to roll down your window, the unwillingness to turn on the dome light in the car, the unwillingness to just give us your license, all that does is heighten our security. Like, oh, well, what's happening? Because if somebody is not a criminal, if somebody is not running from the law, they would, here's my driver's license, or roll down the window. Hey, I'm sorry, I ran the red light, my bad. Yeah, I've been pulled over. Hey, you got me. I was speeding, wasn't paying attention. I roll all my windows down, I turn on my dome. I'm a cop. I roll all 4 of my windows down. I turn the dome light on, and I keep my hand on the steering wheel.
Yep.
Because the instant that officer feels that I'm not here to hurt you, that emotional stress, that heightened sense of security, that adrenaline rush, boom. You know how many times I pull somebody over and they go, "Hey, officer, I just want to let you know I got a gun."
Instantly.
White, black, Hispanic, man, female, it don't matter. If you're willing to tell me you got a firearm and you got your concealed handgun license, obviously I don't think you're going to dump rounds into me because you've already disclosed that you have a firearm. Right. So again, it's that, oh shit, you got a gun. But wait a minute, you just told me you got a gun. So we're going to collaborate and we're going to work on that, and we'll be fine on the traffic stop.
Queen, I'm watching your face. I was just curious what was in your head when John was talking.
Oh no, like just while he was speaking, I mean, I agree with a bunch of what you said, and I really feel like I understand what you're saying, what you can do as far as law enforcement. And I feel like the second part of that falls back on us as a community to make sure that we are teaching our youth how to interact with police officers, because we are in a society where social media just runs everything. And it's sad to say, but all you see on social media is the negative. So,
Outreach.
Right.
They need an outreach.
And like they need a positive, like a positive influence to be able to teach them, okay, like police aren't bad. Like you said before, there's good this, bad this. But I mean, everything you were saying, it led me to a question that as far as the PBA is concerned, is there anything as far as resources? Because I'm thinking about like the African-American officers. Mm-hmm. Are there any resources that are tailored specifically to them? So
in St. Pete specifically, the city along with the agency has collaborated for the African-American community. They have something called Men in the Making.
Okay.
So it's African-American police officers to include our assistant chief, I think, who's one of the founding fathers, if you will, of the organization. Antonio Gilliam, Chief Tony Gilliam. What up? And then he was my first sergeant. I was his first solo probationary officer. He was my street crimes lieutenant. He was my lieutenant when I was in street crimes and my major. That's my guy. African-American male from Tallahassee, hella rough childhood. And he helped with Major Shakir Miller, Major First, retired assistant police chief and police chief of Florida, or I'm sorry, of Pinellas County Schools, Luke Williams. These men in law enforcement positions realize that there's an issue. They identified an issue within their community. They realized that a fatherless home is creating some anti-authority issues. Mm-hmm. So they filled that gap. They were the men for those kids in that gap that fulfilled that or provided that male-dominated figure, of authority, and one you could talk to and relate to and go play basketball with and go hang out with. So what's cool about that organization is they just went out. They went out, they went to dinners, they went bowling, they just hung out, they played basketball. But then they flipped after the kids had fun and they got all tired. They said, let's talk about how you interact with law enforcement. Let's talk.
That's important.
Nobody, listen, I'm telling you. I know I keep going back to the military. I served in combat. Nobody wants to come here and take a life. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to come here and wants to take a life. Do we all know that that's a possibility any given day? We are reactionary, right? Like you're hard pressed, and I would say, please show me a video of a normal traffic stop where the officer doesn't already have information based on this person that you're pulling over. Has he got a warrant? Mm-hmm. He's a homicide suspect. I take down homicide suspects once a week. You know what I mean? It's that homicide gets probable cause for somebody. Hey, we got video. We got the fingerprints. The DNA came back. They're driving this car. Pull them over. So to the untrained person who has no idea, who sees a traffic stop occurring, and they're like, why is this officer running to the car with his gun out and ripping this guy out of the car? That's a homicide suspect.
Yeah, he killed
Right.
somebody.
We're not stopping him just because he ran a red light. We're waiting to the most advantageous time, tactical time, to take this person out because they killed somebody.
And they can kill me.
Correct.
They killed
But-
somebody.
Correct.
They kill me.
And
But on
99.9% of
social
the
media, you don't see that.
You don't
He
no,
just went live.
you don't know.
That's what. That's
And you
what-
don't know why the officers are doing that stop. I could tell you if somebody runs a traffic light, if somebody is speeding, if somebody fails to signal, my gun doesn't come out of my holster. Like I'm like, hey, do you know why I'm pulling you over? Yeah, I ran that red light. All right, give me your license. If you don't got a warrant, I'm giving you a
we'll let
warning.
you- It's a warning.
That's it. That's it. Listen, let me take a thing to say. There's no such thing as quotas in Florida. So don't think that the cops are doing
it's a quota.
You ain't got the end of the month quota. And all that?
no zero.
I want that
Zero.
to be clear because I've
It
always
is-
been told.
Lou,
that my whole
it's
life.
illegal to have a quota in the state of Florida.
Okay, so when
illegal.
somebody tells me, "Hey, man, it's the end of the month,"
Now,
these
no.
police are
False.
out here trying to reach
False.
that quota.
Now
False.
y'all do.
I'm glad
do
you
like
said
the,
that.
The
False.
click it or ticket, like I had. Who was it?
So what
It's
they
not-
do is they
it's
do-
Not a let's pull you over, but if it's hey, if you see it as zero tolerance. pull
Correct.
over.
So they do traffic initiatives. They do like safety initiatives. So in St. Pete, especially on Gandy, we have a lot of people who race there. So what we'll do is,
Oh yeah.
but listen to this, we put it on social media. Hey, Friday, this day,
public. It's
we're
public
gonna
information.
be out there enforcing speeding.
Yeah, and you're still stupid enough to do it.
Correct. So then you're gonna get a ticket.
Yeah.
But there is no quotas. Lou. No quotas.
Let that be clear.
There used to be, for sure.
So it was a thing at one time. Okay.
Used to be, but no more. Hold on. Back to your point about the men in making. I don't want to skip over that.
I'm gonna touch on that.
We partnered with the city council member, the Suncoast PBA, to do a POPS program, police and preschoolers. So we got out there to preschool kids, read them books, hung out with them, showed them what it is to be a cops. As a canine officer, I work day shift now. I do a demo once a month. So we go to these schools, all schools, north side, south side, black, white, don't matter. Go to schools, provide demos, let the kids talk to us about what it is to be a police officer. We we help the what's the St. Pete the city thing that the St. No, you're good. You're good. There, St. Pete Leadership St. Pete. Leadership St. Pete. So we help them, and the reason we help them is because it's leaders within the community that give us an ear to talk about both police work from my perspective and the union work from our perspective.
Okay.
So we're dealing with the leaders that then go and talk to their community. So we do demos. We do a whole bunch of stuff that we try to get plugged in and stay with our community, let them know we're not the bad guy.
Right.
We're here to help. If something happens, come to us. You know what I hate, and I'm about to pass it to Sasha because she's going to smack me, is, and please don't do this as a parent. I'm looking at the camera if the camera's working.
I know what you're gonna say.
Do not see me at Walmart, at Publix, or anywhere and tell your child that I'm going to arrest you. If you don't behave, he's going to take you to jail.
You
Cut
read
Don't
my
do that.
mind.
Automatically putting that fear into
Don't do
their
that.
child.
Because now the cop's scared of me. Or now the kid's scared of me.
Right.
Why? Why do that? Oh, if you don't behave, he's going to take you to jail. Time out. Be a mom. Be a dad. You do that.
So
That's
you talking to the people
yeah,
right now?
that's
Joe.
your kid. Don't put that on me because then that kid's going to resent me.
Yeah.
Forever.
If something happens, I need that kid to call me, not hate me and think I'm going to take him to jail. That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
I had two extra thoughts. One, I'm like looking at you because you need to tell me if I'm going too far. Okay? But just, Sasha, like personal thought on this. I think all of those programs are so important. And I want to talk about the call program too that St. Pete's done because I think that ties into like a broader conversation. But all of these programs are seeds, right? They're tiny pieces. And it would be inauthentic, and I'll say it for me, not to say there are good reasons why communities of color are afraid of law enforcement. They are generational reasons why communities that are disenfranchised and poor are afraid of law enforcement. If my grandmother had told me stories about her getting hosed and dogs released on her when she was in a peaceful protest, I would have that knowledge because my grandmother is a credible person to me.
Absolutely.
So we're not here to say that law enforcement is perfect, and we're not here to say that the history of law enforcement in the United States is perfect. It's far from
And he's
it.
reformed.
It's
Yeah.
far from it. And all of these programs are us, these 1980s babies, saying that wasn't us.
Yeah.
It did happen.
And we know
We're not
it
here
happened.
to gaslight and say that it didn't, but we are here to say treat each of these people as an individual. When you interact with a law enforcement officer, know that John, who grew up in the Bronx with every shade of white, tan, and brown, has his own history, his own experiences, his own stuff, right? And you each have your own stuff. You're not homogenous. I have my own stuff, right?
Homogenous.
You're welcome.
Hey,
You write it down.
Hey,
We'll make you
Siri.
an index card. But having these conversations from a place of authenticity and not being afraid to say them is what makes law enforcement better. And it's one of the things that I'm proud that we do, and I'm proud that we give each other the space to be who we are and to represent like different backgrounds and different perspectives, because all of these programs, they're not just in place because it's like cute. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? They're in place because there was stuff there.
Yeah.
Right.
We acknowledged it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the call program, real quick to touch on that. I was the first union. We were the first union. I was the first union president to be in collaboration with our city to create a program that pulled police officers from non-criminal calls. Why send a police officer whose only method of dealing with things is talking for a second and then escalating to an arrest, or you come at me with violence and me reciprocating and responding to that. If somebody's going to a mental health crisis, they don't need to see somebody with a gun and a badge.
Right.
They need to see a mental health professional. So we created a program. We sponsored and were a proponent of pushing a program, which I sold and communicated to my membership that this is going to relieve us about 1,200 calls a year. We don't need to be going to people's homes because their kid doesn't want to go to school. Why are you sending a police officer to somebody's house to snatch up a little kid because he don't want to go to school for truancy? Send a social worker to that. That's not my. Yeah, it's a mom and dad problem. That's not my job.
Right.
But they used to send us to it. Why? Because we were 24/7, 365 fix all. When those places were closed, they called us and we responded. Or a mental health issue, not a nonviolent, not a suicidal, but I need help. I'm not taking my medicine. I'm hearing voices. I'm seeing things.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to hurt myself. Why send a cop to that? The only thing we can do is correct you.
Send a therapist.
Send a therapist to that. So we have a program that we partnered with, and they do that. And in the very beginning, it was teamed up. They were riding with the police officer. And now we know when they get dispatched, and we monitor that call. So if at any point it turns violent, we dispatch a police officer there. If there's any tone of violence to it, of course, we're going to still send a
Automatic,
police
yeah.
officer
Right.
there. We can't send a social worker to get hurt.
Right.
But people were trying to sell it as we were defunding the police by that because we were not getting paid. We were cutting resources away from law enforcement because we wanted this program out there.
That's just a pointless.
It's the reverse. We freed up officers from 1,200 calls a year to respond to 911 criminal, violent, occurring now emergencies. So it was great. Like my membership in the beginning was very hesitant. Oh, we're going to put social workers in here. They're going to get killed.
But that's
None
what
of them have been
they're
killed.
trained for.
Correct. None of them have been hurt.
You know-
It's just they didn't know, and it was something new that our profession was experiencing. They're like, oh, because you have the defund movement out there, they thought, well, this is defunding the police. They're going to do away with us. And no, it's a group of certified professionals doing something that they should know. Now, let me get back to something earlier about cultural stuff. Okay? I wasn't always a cop. I wasn't always on the side of law enforcement.
Yeah, we've heard the
Yeah,
stories,
fuss,
man.
so fuss on there said, who
Hold on.
would ever guess that? Old Johnathan Vazquez.
Who said that?
Rufus Nelson.
Ooh. Hey, tell him.
John.
Hey, tell him. Plead the fifth on everything.
He's happy to see you. He said he's very proud
Yeah.
of you.
There's a couple of
Rufus, my dude, man.
Blaze.
Rufus, my dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Johnny Blaze. That was my nickname. Hey, but let me tell you this. I dabbled on the other side. Okay, believe me. Talk about fighting and
All the other, yeah,
doing some
allegedly.
gangster shit.
Yeah.
Right, allegedly,
Yeah,
I was about that life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it because you're short?
Yes, 100%. It was no. What it was I was quick to spark anybody. So they were like, "We'll send the smallest guy out there."
Yeah.
And you got your biggest guy, and I don't talk. You're gonna come up and start talking about, oh, I want to do that, not bop, and I'm just gonna hit
Go
you.
punch him in
That's
his
it.
mouth, man.
Yeah, go. So that was young me. But let me tell you, like, culturally, okay? Like, I grew up in the culture. You know what I mean? Like, that was my life. That's, people can attest to it, and I won't go any further. What I can't understand, and it still bothers me, and I never understood it even then, is and I'll say we, because the Puerto Rican community does it too. We'll have a T-shirt. Free Pablo. What did Pablo do? Pablo killed people.
Yeah, rape 4 kids.
Pablo murdered somebody. He raped somebody. Oh, free Petey. Free this. 12 got me effed up. They did it. What are we doing? Why are we putting on a pedestal somebody who took somebody's life, somebody who raped somebody, somebody who did like this egregious, violent act? Why are we doing that? Like, born and raised in hip hop. You know what I mean? Nas is the greatest artist out there. There's no argument. I don't want to hear it. Nas, the most lyrical person out there.
Yeah.
Jay-Z's the best selling. Can't argue that. Nas is the most lyrical. All right. So away from that. But the culture that I grew up in, the music that I grew up listening to, wasn't always law enforcement friendly. And now as an adult, I'm like, man, like, we're not the enemy. We're not the bad guy. Like, slinging crack to your community and causing your community to be poisoned is not dope. That's not cool. That's not what it's about. You shouldn't free Pablo, Pookie, Junior, whoever's on the street doing that. Like, why would we celebrate that? You know what I mean? Like, we're out there trying to make sure that your kids can play in the front yard without worrying about a drive-by because your next-door neighbor sells dope and the jack boy is going to come get him.
Yeah.
Listen, in St. Pete, it's not all, it's not all sunshine and flowers. You know what I mean? There's a dope element in St. Pete and they're murdering people. Back in my day, and I feel like I'm old head saying this, we had an issue. We had beef. We squabbled. We fought. We threw hands. And either we weren't friends after that, but we were okay, or we shook hands and were like, we might be friends after that. There's many of friends that I fought that are some of my great friends now. It's not all about, oh, you did me wrong, I'm going to go shoot your house up. Because you know what happens 90% of the time? I don't kill him.
Yeah, somebody else does.
I kill your kid who's sleeping in your house because my boy was doing 35 and I just let the K spray and I killed somebody.
Right.
And it's not, we got a girl in St. Pete, Paris Hilton, I believe she was 8 years old. She got killed because of drive-by. The house was 2 houses down.
They got the wrong
And then
house.
what happened? Free old boy who did the shooting. Like, what are we talking about? 8-year-old girl was killed.
It's definitely something that
We have to switch that in the culture, man.
Yeah,
We have to.
I've noticed some, small movements towards that.
That's good.
We need that more. Yeah, definitely need to push on that.
That's what we're doing.
You're doing that right now. Hey, listen,
right now.
let's flip
Bro,
this.
straight
I'm
up.
the podcast, guys. I'm running this right now. So John's running this, not Lou anymore. I gotta tip my hat to you guys. You guys are doing what I think is needed. You guys aren't highlighting law enforcement as the end-all, be-all, the greatest thing in the world. We're knights in shining armor. You're giving us the opportunity to talk about the real-life law enforcement and how we're trying to help and be of the side and on the side of change, right? Everybody talks about change. We want that change just as much as you guys, I promise you. And when I say you guys, I mean the civilian population, right? We want us to be in harmony with one another because that means my guys come home safe.
Right.
That means there's not that added stress on both sides.
Right.
On a son that I pulled over whose dad had a beef and an issue with cops in the years, I don't want him to think that John Vazquez, am I going to have the same beef with you? Cat, I'm pulling you over because your license plate lights out or your license plate fell off or it's expired. First of all, I'm canine, so I don't pull anybody over. I ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
But, like, I applaud y'all for doing this because not many people, especially in the culture that y'all are in, right, hip-hop and in Polk County, aren't going to give us the opportunity to come and talk about this.
Yeah.
You have somebody in law enforcement. I believe a family member. That's one of my members. Shout out. I'm not going to put no names out there, but shout out. You got family in law enforcement in the military. I'm sure you know somebody in your family
My father
in the law enforcement.
Sergeant first class, retired Sergeant first class.
So what I appreciate is you guys giving us the opportunity, not to set the record straight, but to like listen to us and see our hearts and see our mind. Yeah, for sure.
Well, one thing.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
And we'll wrap it up. So, one thing we like to do on this platform is get both sides of the story.
Facts.
Yes, this is hip hop culture, and we deal with that side of it. But
This is part of the
we're
culture.
also here to show the other side.
Facts.
And we just want to thank you guys. Sasha, thank you for taking the time out.
Absolutely.
I know you're a busy mom and a busy lady out here, and we appreciate you taking the time out to sit down with us. John, you already know what it is.
Yeah, I got you.
We family,
Beauty
man,
sleep
and
time.
we appreciate you guys.
I should have been asleep by
If there's
7:30.
I'm sorry. If there's anything else we missed in wrapping,
Facts.
Very fast.
Sasha got
Okay,
something.
Very fast. Very important to us always to say this is a culture and community where if you are in poverty, if your parents are not going to be able to make opportunity for you, think about law enforcement. If you
Facts.
think it's not working, think about it. Do an Explorer program at school. Call John Vazquez. He picks up his cell phone all the time. And let's talk about, let me show you
I'm gonna
pay
change my
charts.
career.
This
Right.
is not a way to become, you're not driving a Ferrari, being a police officer, but you can buy a nice house in Polk County.
Yeah.
You can
I don't know about
pay for
Polk
your
County.
kid. Not in Pinellas, but
I have to
you
go
can
to
buy a house. You can be the first person in your
Dundee.
family that pays off your mortgage.
Yeah.
You can be the
Right.
first person in your family who goes to college for free because law enforcement agencies will pay for you to get your degrees.
Breaking generational
this is-
cycles.
It's an opportunity for people to make their own money, have their own dignity that doesn't require the old ways of doing it,
Right.
right? There's ways to make cash and there's ways to make a career.
And
Yeah.
don't feel judged.
And don't feel judged.
Because a lot of people are like, man, what if I go on? Listen, I'm a big proponent of that, and I will say, I was one of those that was on the other side. I'd be like, man, fuck 12.
Facts.
You know that. He knows that.
I deleted him off of
He
Facebook
deleted
because
me
of it.
off of Facebook. It hurt my heart. It hurt my spirit.
That's my cuz.
I called Chris and I'm like, did John delete his Facebook? He's like,
No, he deleted you.
He deleted you dumbass, because you talk shit about law enforcement. And I was like, for real? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, man, it's fucking childish, right? And then I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe I'm wrong. And I reached out to him and I'm like, bro, he's like, bro, you got to understand that there's another side to it. And you can't automatically just assume, bro. He's like, because, bro, I'm your cousin. So by you saying that, you're saying, fuck me. You know what I mean? He's like, do you not want me to come home to my kids and my wife? And you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, nah, bro, I want you to come home. And he's like, so think. You know what I mean? Just use logic. Like, really, like, understand that. And I understand that now more than ever, that, you know what? Don't be afraid, and don't think that, to think outside the box and say, okay, I came from the hood, I sold drugs, I've done this and that and the third, I can never be a police officer. Bullshit. You can be that. You could be that change in your family. You can
Yeah,
change
definitely.
your generations after
Break the
you
cycles.
line. You know what I mean?
And that's what we
Break the
want.
cycle.
Like I don't want, and I'm not talking crap about any police officer who is this, but I don't necessarily want the police officer who has no life experience at 21 years old, has finished college, they're great academically, and they become a cop. I need somebody with life experience. Military people who grew up in the culture, who know how to communicate, who know how to talk, who know how to identify. That it makes our job 10 times easier. Yeah, I mean, it makes it 10 times easier. And it puts forward the reality of what it is to be a law enforcement officer in 2025.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the wild, wild west. Back in the good old boy days, it's not like that anymore. Like I said, we have every demographic of race, culture, religion in our law enforcement community. Realize that. You know what I mean? Some agencies do it better than others. Yeah. St. Pete does a great job in doing it. A lot of places here in Pinellas County do a great job in doing it. Realize that, recognize that, come to a cop, talk to a cop. We're not all assholes. Yeah, I mean, and understand that we're humans too. You know what I mean? That when we're dealing with a situation, the only thing that we have to make sure, and the number one priority is that we can go home at night. We have a wife, we have a husband, we have a kids, plural, that we want to make sure that we come home to. Right. And to Sasha's point, listen, law enforcement officers don't make, chump change anymore. We're making, it's a career now.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks to their union. Yeah. So it's a career.
Shout out to the
You
PBA.
got,
And their pension.
Officer Muñiz.
Come on.
Soon to come.
You ain't too old. Ooh.
Queen.
Well, listen, again, we appreciate you.
you
We
guys.
appreciate you guys
Absolutely.
taking the time out. We appreciate everyone who's chimed in on the live.
Shout out
We
Rufus.
appreciate. Listen, we definitely got to collab on some outreach.
Yeah. If,
'Cause
if
we
you ever
wanted to
guys
do
need
that.
us for
We've been wanting
anything,
to do like outreach.
Absolutely.
We're
It's
here
just
for
important,
you.
bro. It's
Yeah.
important. and
we're
it's
definitely
vital.
here.
We'll go over there. We'll link up with the union that's in Polk County. So we got West Central Florida
Yeah, I
PBA.
already talked to a couple people.
Yeah,
from,
so
like,
they're the
LPDs
union
and
out there in
PCSO.
West Central, and then we'll go over there and we'll collab. We'll
Awesome.
be within the community or wherever you need us.
Great.
That's
So
good.
listen, every Thursday, 8:30-ish,
Ish.
you know,
Ish.
CPT time. This, that, and the other goes live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Please, if you haven't subscribed already,
Absolutely.
subscribe to that YouTube page. Arlie, we appreciate you.
Polk County Queen.
Polk County Queen. Shout out
You
to our
got
brother
upgraded.
Swan.
You got
I done upgraded.
Shout out to Devontae, the mix master behind us. And Saint, you already know what it is. And shout out to everybody who's patient behind us. Again, 8:30 every Thursday. We appreciate y'all. We out this thing.
Yes, sir.